Hello, my name is Janie, a Liberian, and I'm 29 years of age. Uh, Today, I want to talk about my journey in life. I want to talk about my dad, his impact in my life. So, my dad he was actually a technician and a Muslim, and he actually had a great impact over my life and over my upbringing. So my dad actually took the road of being a father in my life when I was age 7. That was when he took me from my mom, and he decided to raise me. He had 11 girls. He always reminded me that he wanted me to become somebody. He said he knew that God told him something about me, that I wasn't just an ordinary child, and he knew why he took me from my mom. So he always reminded me. So it got to a point that my stepmom, she stopped allowing me to be out. I was actually mostly indoor when my dad is not around. She would put me inside, and she's like, I should read my book, I should study and clean up the house like that. So while everybody is outside, I will be inside. So sometimes I will have to wait for my dad to come back from work before I actually eat food, because I wasn't that type that communicated with people that much. Like, I had communication issues. So when she gave me food to eat, I would sit and I won't eat the food. I would just sit there waiting for my dad to come back from work. So actually my dad, when he get back, no matter how late it is, he will wake me up for us to eat together. That was how he actually, the communication between he and I, the love and everything, that was how I felt that he really, really meant what he said. So what happened when I was actually 17 years of age, I had issues. Like, I had friends that I was behind, following, like going places and all of that. So my dad actually got angry, and he was like, it's not where you are that told you why you are here, but you are not listening. The age that you have reached in, this is the most dangerous age, and I don't want you to be going out with friends and all of that. Because the house we were staying in at the time, it was his brother-in-law place. In this brother-in-law, he was a chief, a paramount chief. So it was a big house, and then we had a lot of different people in the house. We had a lot of different family, and everybody, even though we were dead, but then we're just there as one family, but different backgrounds. So he was like, you are here. Do you realize that you are different from everybody else? You don't notice it? Like, I did not just pick you to bring you here, but you are different. But if you continue to like go out with friends, I would send you back to your mom. So, well, I did not listen, and then he sent me back. So when I went back, I was actually in the 10th grade, and then my mom too, she was a businesswoman, so she was very busy. But my dad always checked up, like he was always calling to know what was going on. Like, sometimes he would come, he was sick, actually, he was sick, but he never stopped coming, and then he was always coming to check up on me. So after some time, things did not go well. It did not go well at all. And then I left my mom, and then I moved with friends. I moved to a friend place. When I moved in with my friend, and then I got pregnant. I was a teenage And then I was in my teenage, and then I got pregnant. My dad was so heartbroken. He was like, he came over, and then he came over to my mom's place, and then I went to hide. But then I heard the conversation between him and my mom. He was literally like crying, and he was like, he did not expect what happened to happen. He wanted my mom to look over me, and then I did what happened. So he was actually angry, and like he cried, literally, he cried. So he left. When he left, and then when I gave birth and everything, my mom did not allow me to sit down because she was like, your dad is already complaining, so you are going back to school. So I had no connection with the child or anything. She took care of the child, and then I went back to school. And then after 1 year, I left, and then I went to another place. I was talking with a friend because my mom and I were not really that connected the way my dad and I were connected. So most of the time, she would always complain. So I got so tired, I said, I'm leaving. So I left the house, and then I went to stay with a friend. So when I went to the house, the place I was stopping, this friend that I went to, her uncle, he was a Christian. This meant he was not working at all, but then he was actually, every morning he would call us for devotion. He would call us to pray and everything. I know nothing about a Christian praying and all of that, but this was my first encounter with being a Christian and praying and all of that. So he would wake us up every morning to pray, and then we prayed, and then we go our normal day. We go. I was still in school at that time. My mom, she paid the place I moved. What she did was that she told me to look for school there, and then she would pay. So I went to the SDA. At that time, I was in my 10th grade. So she paid the school fees and everything. So I just went the 3 years. I graduated from SDA, and then I started attending church with the girl that I was with. That was my first time. Like, I was just attending because I saw everybody going. So, well, let me just flow. I'm actually going because we are in the house and everybody's going to church. So let me just go to church as well. After some time, I got a place of my own. My mom helped me. I told her that I wanted to move out, and then she helped me, and I moved out. I was in my own place, and I went to the university. Like, I started attending the United Methodist University. The place that I moved, I was actually staying by a church. This church, every morning I would hear them praying, and when they are praying, sometimes I would be in the room, and then I would just wake up, and then like I would just join them and be praying like that. So I started attending the church close by. I started going, visiting, and every time I would visit. And then I had a friend from that church who is my son's father now. So he and I, we got together from there as well. In 2015, the end of 2015, that was when I had an encounter with God. An encounter that confused me, and it's now that I understood what my dad always said. It was in that encounter that I got to know why my dad always say what he. So what happened was that I was actually in the house. I came back from school in the evening, and then I was on my phone, playing with the phone and everything. And I saw this light that came through the room. When the light came in, and then he called me, he called me by my name, and then he told me he was ready. It was bright and everything. I didn't really know what it was at the time. So I was afraid, and then very, very afraid. Like, I wasn't really sleeping like that when that happened to me. I think the Bible calls that trance. It was something like that. So it just happened, and then when he called me by the name and he told me he was ready. So when I woke up, I was confused about it. I told my son's father. He was like, well, I don't know. I have no idea on what's happened to you. So I went to the church and then told the pastor, and the pastor told me, he started praying. He prayed for me. Well, he did not actually explain to me the meaning of what happened, but he just prayed with me, and that was it. And then I tested another pastor, and he told me that the Lord is leading me. He's actually calling me, and and a time will come that I would do the Lord's work. Well, I did not believe what he said because I had no idea what he was talking about. So what happened, and then after some time, the relationship that I was into, everything became upside down and stuff. So I ended up leaving, and then I went back to live again with my mom. So I was actually staying with my mom, and after some time, again, the place that my mom stays, we live, was actually beside a church also. So what happened, the same thing started to happen to me again. When the people are praying, it was like I feel connected to what they were saying because the microphone was so loud. So when they are preaching, when they are saying things, I just felt connected somehow. I felt connected to everything. So I started attending this church. I started praying, reading, and then I started praying to God. Like, I was praying that the relationship that I was in with my son's father could be okay. That everything could work out, that we could get married and everything. But that wasn't the plan of God for my life. So what happened was that God led me on Facebook. That was where it was like, I don't even know what happened, but then I saw a testimony about someone. She's in Action Chapel now. She's a pastor, and she's in the counseling department. So she and I, it's like she shared a testimony about her life, how she believed and God called her. Like, she gave up everything. She don't want to be part of the world again. She don't want to do anything that the world tell her to do. She has found Christ. She has given her life to Christ and everything. What she wrote actually touched me somehow, and I was like, wow, I don't know, but I believe this is what God is saying about me also. So I text her, I'm like, oh, I saw your testimony and I'm very moved about everything. She said, yeah, what happened? She explained her entire story to me about how she became saved. She actually came to Ghana to have fun with friends and everything. And then when she attended church, she got arrested as well. So what happened was that she went on Facebook now to start telling people that because everybody know her, like, she was well known in Liberia, one of these big girls and everything. So when she said those things, people went there and they were laughing, they were saying things and all sorts of things. But she told me, she said, I believe that God has called me. I believe what he calls me to be. And then she and I, we started talking as friends and everything. We started praying together, like she was praying with me. All the time she was praying with me. After that, so I called my dad, and then I told him that I believe that God has called me in. He knows that I was going to church before, after I left him and everything. So I told him I believe that it's not just about the church that I'm going to now, but I believe that God has a calling over my life. So in spite of all these things, my dad was supportive, like he was there for me. He was a father. And I know that I wasn't the best daughter that he wanted me to be, but I just want to say thank you for all of his love and support towards me. And I want to tell him that whatever it is he said that he knew, because he always told me that I was special, that there was something special about me, and he knew it. And then he made me to know about these things when I became saved, when I became born again. Like when I gave my life to Christ, he told me that there was saying over my life that I was going to become somebody. I mean, that God was going to use me. But it wasn't something that he expected me to come up to being a Christian today. And whatever it is he saw, I believe it is working out. And I want to tell him that I love him so much, and I will do everything to make him proud. Not like the first time, but this time is going to be something that will glorify God and make him proud as a dad. And I want to say thank you so much to him, that I love him so much. And to all fathers out there who is there for their children, I mean, continue to be there. I mean, it is not easy, because being a child, sometimes it comes with ignorance and everything, and it is the love that he shows to us. It is the love that you give to us. It is the guidance that you gave us that lead us into becoming the great person that you want us to be. Even though, I mean, everything you want might not go as you want it to be, because God also has a plan for our life. But please don't give up on us. Be an amazing dad.